Why is the 2023 Acura MDX the king of the luxury three-row crossover SUVs? That is quite a mouthful, by the way, but it is what it is. Well, the starting price is $49,050. And here are the high points. The interior is comfortable and there is a lot of cargo space. There's a balance of sporty handling with a relaxed ride quality, and that's not something you normally get. We'll talk more about that later on. And there's a generous array of features and driving aids for the money. And if you want quick acceleration, the Type S model is available, and it's better priced than many of its competitors. Obviously, this is the best-selling luxury three-row SUV that you can get your hands on. And there's a lot going on here that makes that the case. And it starts with the exterior design. Let's talk about this front grille. This is the A-Spec design, by the way. So you've got the diamond pentagon grille, and with the A-Spec black surround on the front grille, it really makes things pop. It just looks right with this particular model. And with the full LED headlights, you're also going to have, in addition to those full LED headlights, the chicane, if I can get that out of my mouth, daytime running lights, also LED, and the LED fog lights down there on the lower portion of the bumper. And for those of you who might want to know about the remote, well, there you go. There is the remote and what that looks like, everything that's on there. It's a pretty sturdy remote, very well built, got a little bit of chrome there on the side, and other things that people commonly ask about. We showed you this earlier, but there is the turn signal indicator built into the side view mirror. A lot of you like that, which means I assume you're using your blinkers. And here under the hood, the 3.5-liter six-cylinder. Let's talk about exactly what you have here. I'm gonna let Carrie come in and show you what's under the hood. 290 horsepower, the torque numbers come in at 267. It's made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now here's the thing on the MPGs, depending on if you have front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. With front-wheel drive, you're looking at 19 miles per gallon city, 26 out on the highway, and 22 combined. Or with all-wheel drive, you have 19 city, 25 highway, and 21 combined. And I'm gonna come back into the shot here and show you some really cool things here that just a gearhead would notice, but it's cool to see that they're here. There's a lot of quick disconnects here that make it easy when you're in for maintenance or something needs to be fixed to take care of. I'm not gonna disconnect anything, but that's there. It's kind of cool if you're a gearhead. But one thing that I like here that speaks quality of Acura, I hope you can hear this. That's not cheap, thin plastic. Number one, I like the overall design of the engine cover right here. It actually looks tasteful. Kind of almost a carbon fiber look to it with the design right here. Plus, you have the Acura logo right there. But this is not the only piece here that has that really sturdy sound to it when you knock on it right there. Why is that important? Because it speaks of quality. We're talking about why this is the best-selling model in its class. That is one of the reasons. And one of Tom's favorite reasons, for those of you who watch me regularly, you'll notice what's not here. There's not the manual prop rod to hold the hood up. That's because you have the hydraulic struts. Again, when you have a price point starting at nearly $50,000, you would expect that would be there. But there are models on the market where that is not the case, and so I definitely have to give kudos to Acura. And let's talk tire and rim size. 255/50 on these tires, and that 50 series sidewall, this area right here, pretty meaty. The good news about that is that soaks up bumps when you're driving down the road, makes the ride quality better. That's one reason this is a smooth riding SUV. Surrounding the 20-inch wheels, these A-Spec wheels, a very nice design to a great degree. They mimic that design of the front grille. Now, one thing you might have noticed earlier when I showed you the remote is there is no remote start. Now, if you want remote start on your remote, you've got to go to the advanced trim level. However, with the app that you can use on your phone, you can have remote start there. It's complimentary for 3 years. All right, let's talk a little bit about what you'll find here. If you're wondering about roof rails, you're gonna have to step up to the advanced trim level, so that's not available here on the A-Spec trim level. Not a big deal. I don't know that a lot of people are using those in this day and age. And let's open the rear door here because I want to show you something you might not know about that I think is a great feature. Let's just say it opens to this height and you're saying, man, I don't want to bump my head on it. You know, that could give you a headache, right? Well, here's the thing. Right here, I'll let Carrie come in and show you the button first. This button right here is how you're ultimately going to reset the height of the door. So, I don't want to bump my head on this door. Now it's high enough to where I can't do that. So what's going to happen is I'm going to hold this button down and listen for the beeps. So now we're going to close that one more time just to give you a quick demonstration here so you can see what happens. So we're going to open it back up now and you're going to notice that it opens all the way. That is a nice feature. So let's show a little bit of what's here. When Carrie comes in, we've got the 12-volt power outlet over there on the left-hand side. And you noticed that the spare tire was underneath the vehicle. That's good news because that gives you additional storage capacity down here. And the cool thing about this floor, let me show you something really interesting here. See how this comes out? So you've got the plastic side right here, and you've got the carpeted side right here. That means if you're hauling something back here that could potentially spill some dirt or some sand on the carpet and you're thinking to yourself, I don't want to get that dirty. Well, you can flip that floor over very easily. And then, at least here on the A-Spec trim level, here's how we're going to maximize our cargo capacity. Let me lower these other seats down real quick for you from the inside, at least one of them, because my arms aren't quite long enough. We have one lowered down right here already, actually, with that armrest. So you're going to maximize your cargo space with all of this. So what exactly are those numbers? I'm going to let Carrie show you around inside there while I give you the numbers here. With cargo capacity, it goes between 18.1 cubic feet up to 91 cubic feet, and depending on your configuration, you can tow 3,500 pounds with front-wheel drive, or with what we have here, it's all-wheel drive. That means you can tow up to 5,000 pounds. We talked about the headlights and the front fog lights. What about the rear? Every element here is LED, so you're going to have a very nice design. Again, that LED chicane design. We've got the turn signal turned on right there. If you don't know how to use that, I'll show you. There's a lever in the interior in case you're curious about that. And the trapezoidal exhaust right here. We'll see if Carrie can get you a good shot on that. Give him some opportunity to stretch a little bit, but you can see what's there, a nice overall design. And the good thing is that they're not faux exhaust pipes. So they're actually real, they actually are functional. And then here is our SH all-wheel drive logo. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, that this is an all-wheel drive model. Okay guys, let's talk about the interior. One thing I want to show real quick before I hop into the back seat and give you a demonstration of leg space back there. You can change that. See how these seats are movable? They go back and forth on the track right there. So that is a good thing. Now, one thing that's interesting, and I'll show you real quick here. Let me just do it this way. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're like this. So as long as you move the seat back like this, it won't go back in place. You have to actually move the seat back itself, and then it locks in place in case you ever run into that problem. Kind of easy to figure out. Now I'm going to hop into the back seat here, and I'll let Carrie drop the seat over there. So here's the thing. You can kind of see where my legs are back here, I hope. Remember, you can move these seats back and forth, so it might look like I'm really cramped back here, which technically I guess I am at the moment, but that problem is easily resolved. It's a good thing. So, got cup holders back here, and that's basically about it, but there is quite a bit of space back here that's available. And something else that's really great, especially for these rear seat passengers, is the panoramic sunroof. Carrie got some really good footage of that earlier for you. Now, I'm sitting back here and you might think, well, how do you get out? There's a button on the top of the seat that you can push, and it just moves everything right out of the way. I like that. So again, those reasons why this is the best-selling SUV in its class, well, here are some of the reasons. Now, we'll put that seat back up, and then you can pull this seat down. Let me find the release. Here we go. Right here is the release. Look at that. Very large area. It's practically a center console. Got a little bit of an armrest there, a couple of cup holders, and all kinds of snacks if you take your buddies to the gym. and they're sitting here in the middle row, well, they've got tons of space for protein bars and beef jerky and whatever they want to put in there. And then if you need to put that back up, you pull on that latch right there, and there you go. Let's talk about the rear of the center console. You're going to have air conditioning vents there. This is tri-zone climate control, by the way. Plenty of adjustability there for temperature, for fan speed, all that good stuff is there. There are your vents, and then connectivity options as well. You've got quite a bit here as far as your 12-volt power outlet goes and your USB ports. So a good amount of options there. And you don't have really the typical map pockets on the rear of the seats here, but I like the fact that they just seem more sturdy. It just seems better. And with this area right here, let's say I had to move up a little bit just for a few minutes and let somebody have some more space back there in the rear. Well, look at that. My legs are not touching the back of the front seat, but yet I have room because of this indentation right here. That is intentional as to why that is there. And then one more thing I do want to show you real quick here, the latch system. Good news about that, you do have the latch system right there, but make sure you hold on to those because they don't stay in place. You can put them back in place when you're not using that, but just so you know what's there. But obviously, for you parents out there with the car seats, that's going to be useful. Okay, real quick, I did want to show you something that is very interesting here. We're going to go to settings right here, and we're going to scroll down to vehicle, and then we're going to go to lighting setup. Whoops, let's see, let me pick the right one there. Lighting setup right here, and then we're going to go down here to accent light theme. So here's what it does. I'll let Carrie show you on the door panel right there the color that you currently have. You can actually change that. The lighting color does change. There are several different colors here available depending on what your personal preference is. Let's see if we can get down here to a different color, and we'll change it one more time. Here's a nice color. Let's try that. There we go. I think that'll show up a lot better. And the thing about it, let's see, we're going to try and get somewhere where I can show you some really nice colors down in the driver and passenger footwells. Also, you can see that nice kind of red down there, so that you'll know there is some accent lighting here, not only in the front area, but also in the rear as well. Okay, guys, I want you to hear everything when we hop inside. Listen. It plays music for you. Isn't that cool? So we're going to hit the button here, and you can see the cool graphics on both screens, on the infotainment screen, but really more so here on the instrument cluster, which, by the way, check this out. You can probably hear that. Pretty good for a vehicle that starts at less than $50,000. It has a power adjustable steering wheel. I really like that. So we'll start over here on the passenger side. I'll let Carrie show you the glove compartment there. And check out the color contrast here. You've got the red and the piano black in a few different areas. Everything just looks so nice. There's a lot of space there within that glove box. There's quite a bit there, but I really like what we have here. Now you might wonder about the infotainment screen. Notice it's not a touch screen. You might wonder why that is. Well, if I'm driving down the road like this and I need to touch that screen, well, guess what? I can't reach that. That's why it actually has the trackpad down here to allow you to control everything. So here's how you're going to kind of work your way around to select things. Let's see. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Probably not. I don't want to turn the volume up too loud and get hit with a copyright strike by YouTube, but as you can see, that's how you select everything. It doesn't take much getting used to, in case you're wondering about that. And as you can see, I've got this trackpad over here on the right-hand side to control everything on the right side of the screen, and then everything that's on the left is controlled by the larger trackpad here. You've got your home button, your back button, and you can also, let's go into reverse. We're going to hit that and show you the rear view cameras. It's not just one camera. There's actually multiple camera views here. Let's move around a little bit here and make sure we can select that. Let's see here. Go over like that. There we go. See, I'm taking a little bit of getting used to on it myself, so don't feel too bad if you're that same person, but I'm not used to this vehicle. So what you're going to do is actually hold your finger right where you need to select, and then you're going to push down on the trackpad itself. We'll move over to the next one there. Nice. And I like what Acura has done here. You've got all the depth right here. It really gives it a better look, kind of a more elegant look of sorts. It just looks more sophisticated, probably more than elegant, we should say, but that is there. Your push button start, and then all of the controls for your dual zone climate control here in the front. And the thing that I really like, even though it's finally cooling down here in Louisiana, look at those blue lights right there. You have heated and ventilated seats. That is really nice. There's a lot of great features here. The heated seats, or the ventilated seats, something we don't see very often. Now, I'm curious to know about your feedback. What do you think about the push button shifter right here? I don't think it's that hard to get used to necessarily, very similar to what we see on a lot of the Hondas, but you've got park, reverse, neutral, and then drive right here, and you also have sport mode. And then what about USB connections? Well, there you go right there, kind of hidden away, but I like the way that looks. It's really nice. And then over here on the left hand side, you've got that pesky auto stop start feature that you can turn off. And brake hold mode, you turn that on and you come to a complete stop and the brakes are locked. And then right here, wireless charging. And you might wonder, let me just demonstrate the wireless charging first. That should come on. Let's make sure it does come on. There it goes. You might notice this right here. You almost want to grab that as a shifter. But the cool thing about that is you can rest your wrist on there and use that to kind of support your wrist while you're using the trackpad. And then I like what we have here with the multitasker. The lid on the console is also an armrest, and it reveals quite a bit of space in there. Now there's a couple of different areas here. Let's see if we can get to that real quick. Two different areas. And then you've also got more connectivity here with another USB and another 12 volt. Quite a bit of space in there for sure. That is definitely very nice. Interior looks super elegant here, I have to admit. We talked about the driving experience earlier. Let's get out on the road and demonstrate that. One thing I do want to show you before we hit the road for our test drive, I know I'm delaying a little bit, but I got to show you the screens for your multiple driving modes. So you've got snow, you've got comfort, normal, and obviously sport. So everything is animated, as you can see. Some pretty cool graphics there. Again, just adding extra value to this MDX. All right, here we go on the test drive. We're driving in comfort mode right now, and I must admit, it is extremely comfortable, but even at that, the handling is really superb. This is the first MDX I have driven, so I'm impressed with what it's done so far in that respect. It's taken the bumps very well. It's handling sharp corners with very minimal body roll. And even though it's not making a lot of horsepower by today's standards at 290, that's more than enough to have some fun with. But the thing that is impressing me the most here is the ride quality. Now, we are in comfort mode right now, so let's change that. We're going to go down here to sport mode and see what happens. I'm cruising along pretty good here, but we're on a test drive. That's what you do on a test drive. So we're about to hit some bumps here going over this bridge. We'll see what happens. That's impressive. What do you think, Carrie?
Very controlled.
I mean, for being a little bit of a shorter wheelbase SUV, even though it is a crossover, it's going to have those car-like ride qualities. But to handle the corners well with minimal body roll and still ride well, that's impressive, because normally you don't get that kind of thing. It's typically you're going to have stiff suspension and a little bit more of a harsh ride with a smoother ride quality. So it really makes a difference in that respect. Now we'll go back into sport mode here in just a second, because we're about to get up to where we can have some fun and do a little cornering. Obviously this is an all-wheel drive model, so cornering is going to be one of its strong suits. So let's see here. Let's get up here a little bit. Overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. Hopefully this car in front of us won't go the same way we're planning to go, but we'll find out here in just a second. Good, they're changing lanes. So let's get up here on this bridge. We're gonna be a little bit held back from what I'd really like to do, but we'll go through here and just see how it handles this corner on this bridge right here. Pretty nice little turn here. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to go as fast as I'd wanted to, but I can tell. I mean, we're coming in here at a pretty high rate of speed and really no body roll. I think if
body roll is noticeable.
it's unbelievable. Yeah, like Carrie just said, I don't know if you can hear that on my mic, the lack of body roll is noticeable. It's not that there's noticeable body roll, it's the lack that is noticeable. And we actually did do a little bit of an acceleration test earlier just to see how it did getting onto the road. 290 horsepower, it's not going to slam you back in the seat real hard, but you can hear that 6-cylinder going to work right there. It definitely has no problems getting down the road. Overall, everything here, I'm very impressed. No wonder this is such a great selling vehicle, and it's really leading its class the way that it is. I have to give Acura definitely some high marks in that respect. This is the first one we've done as far as an SUV goes. I have nothing but good things to say. You know, no vehicle is perfect, but I have to say, this is a lot of fun. I'd love to get my hands on the Type S if they get one in at Orr Acura here in Shreveport, Louisiana. We're definitely going to have to take that out, and we will. We'll just have to see what happens with that. But an enjoyable vehicle to drive, good visibility. The brake pedal is nice and manageable. I always like that, so that when you step out of a vehicle that maybe has aggressive braking, for example, you don't wind up having to adjust tremendously to the braking system on another vehicle. But overall, yep, I like the visibility is pretty good here. Obviously, you have a lot of great options as far as blind spot monitoring and different safety features and everything. I mentioned that earlier in the video, that you get quite a bit based on what you pay for. Just overall, very impressed here. If this is something you're looking for to drive, tell me what the high points are. What are you most interested in having on your MDX? So tell me down in the comments what you think about the 2023 Acura MDX. This A-Spec trim level may not be the highest, but it sure has a lot of great features. It is worthy of being known as the king of the luxury 3-row crossover SUV. I don't want to say that too many more times. Gotta say a special thanks to my friends at Orr Acura here in Shreveport, Louisiana for loaning us this MDX for the day, and all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out another of the videos that's on the screen right now. You can learn about other vehicles we've reviewed, and I'll see you there.